Hello, everybody. This is Cinema 77, horror and cult film lover. And today, while we're not going to be talking about a horror film, we're going to definitely be talking about a cult film. And this is a movie, I'm going to be honest with you. Okay, it came out the year I was born, 1977. And this is the kind of movie, there is no way you can make a movie like this today at all. You could never get away with this. This is the kind of movie that I honestly believe that if you made this movie today, everybody would be coming after you for this. You know, um, every politically correct person on the planet, they would be suing your ass off for this kind of movie. And it even says on the cover, it says this movie is totally out of control. And the name of the movie is the Kentucky Fried Movie. Okay. Now this movie, it's very, very funny. It's very, very different from a lot of the movies that are made today. You got a lot of comedies made today where basically everybody is just, hey, yeah, fuck you, you fucking piece of shit, eat my shit, you fucking cockhole, and that's basically what they do. That's as extreme as it gets. It's dirty language and stuff nowadays. But this movie here, like I said, you could never make this movie today at all. The movie is directed by John Landis, and it was written by David Zucker, Jerry Zucker, and Jim Abrams. They went and created Airplane, which is easily one of the funniest movies of all time. And if you haven't seen Airplane, do yourself a favor. It's very funny. It deserves its place as one of the funniest movies of all time. But this movie's really funny too. But the thing is going back to like what I've said, there is no way at all with the politically correct times and the way everybody is so uptight these days, there is no way you can make a movie like this today and get away with it. Because you have certain things in here like, okay, you have an Asian person. Okay, they do a takeoff on Bruce Lee's movie Enter the Dragon, where you have an Asian person doing basically sounding like Elmer Fudd. So you know that, like, okay, here come the politically correct people saying, like, oh, that's racist. You're making fun of the way, Asian people talk or something. Or you actually have a scene in this movie where, it's a joke where, a guy and a girl are having sex in front of a TV, and on the TV is the news. And it's like while they're having sex, and it gets kind of explicit. I'm not going to lie. The scene does get kind of graphic at some point. The guys who actually turned out to be Jerry Abrams or Jerry Zucker, David Zucker, and Jim Abrams, they actually turned out to be the guys on the news. They actually start where they started off watching them on the news. The people on the news start watching them having sex. And that's the joke, it's like they start, oh my God, wow, look at it, wow, she's having a great time, good for her, that kind of thing. But like I said, you have the thing is though too is like this movie is definitely a product of its time, and I think today a lot of it people would never get. A lot of people would not get a lot of the jokes on here because basically what this movie is it riffs a lot of movie previews and TV shows and old educational films, and it's like I don't even know. I mean, of course, I haven't been in school for years, but I don't even know. Do they even still do that in schools anymore? Where some days they would bring out the film projector or hell, even a DVD player or anything like that, and they would play like old educational films about like keeping neat and tidy, or or stay together and stay safe, or stuff like that. Do they even still do that in schools nowadays? I don't even know. But anyway, this pokes fun at that. This actually makes fun of porno movie trailers and old courtroom television shows, and like I said, there's the spoof of the Bruce Lee movie and talk shows, like point counterpoint stuff and everything else. AM, like morning TV shows like Good Morning America or something like that. It pokes fun at all that stuff, and you have all kinds of jokes in here. You have Rick Baker comes back and does a great job. He's in one of his infamous monkey suits and does a great job as a monkey who's running rampant all over a TV show and everything else because the girl said that he's impotent and everything. So he's going around and he's just, doing all kinds of, raising hell and everything else. But but there are a lot of jokes in this movie, and they make fun of like old, kind of like the old disaster movies. You know, they do one called "That's Armageddon." You know, that has actually appearance by Donald Sutherland, young Donald Sutherland, and um, let's see here, just I mean, even some of the dialogue they say in there is, like if you were thrilled by the towering inferno, you will be scared shitless by that's Armageddon. And black exploitation movie. There's Foxy Cleopatra, or not Fox. Sorry, not Foxy Cleopatra. I'm sorry, my bad, my bad. It was Cleopatra Schwartz. Okay, Cleopatra Schwartz. The idea is a black woman marries a Jewish rabbi. So you see, that's what I'm saying. Jokes like that. There's no way in hell you could make this movie today. You can never make this movie, not with that. People would be coming out and screaming racism all over this movie and misogyny and everything else. There's no way in hell you can make this movie today. It just can't be done, you know? I mean, that's the thing. If you're not uptight and you can actually let things roll off your back and just have a sense of humor about things, then yeah, you could watch this movie and you'd be perfectly fine with it and maybe even get a good laugh or two out of it. But, you know, I mean, there are jokes in here that are completely harmless too. There's like one joke where they're doing a courtroom drama and everything, and the lawyer says, Your Honor, is it okay if I check my briefs, and the judge says, yes, go ahead. And so they're fine. Just looks down his pants. They're fine, but you know, or like he's saying, sir, would you please follow me to the end of the? He's asking the witness, sir, would you please follow me to the end of the courtroom? And so the guy gets up from the witness stand, walks after him, and everything. And then the other lawyer stands up, Your Honor, overrule or no objection. Counsel's leading the witness. That kind of thing. So I mean, there are jokes in here that I mean, they're just nothing to them or whatever, um, but yeah, just kind of like I honestly do. I mean, as much as people want to think that with comedies and stuff nowadays, they're really pushing the boundaries and stuff, and some do better than others. I mean, especially when you consider what kind of politically you know correct environment we live in nowadays, and pretty much everything is really offensive, and everything is you can't make a joke about anything or anybody anymore or anything like that. No, that didn't sound good, did it? But the way you can't make jokes about anything anymore and stuff like that. This movie here is. That's the thing. If you are very easily offended, then I recommend you stay away from this, because this is a comedy. You're gonna lose your shit if you watch this movie. Is basically what I'm saying. I mean, if you're not uptight and you have no problems with it, then yeah, you can handle this movie. It's not that big a deal. But if you are the kind of person you can't handle, um, movies with kind of risque jokes and stuff like that, porno jokes and stuff, I mean, if you can't handle that, then no, I don't recommend you watching this movie. But for me personally, growing up in a time where where, I mean, people were not so uptight, and during, like in the 70s and 80s, I mean, things were like more, they were kind of more pushing the envelope with what you could do back then, and what you could get away with and stuff like that. So that was the kind of time that I grew up in. It was always it was always about, how much further can we go? How much further can we push it? What more, what new boundaries can we cross and stuff like that? Whereas nowadays it's more about trying to pull everything back, and you know, um, now everything is about, let's make everything, politically correct. Let's try not to offend anything or anybody, and all this other kind of stuff. So, I come from a different time than that. So, so it's all like, you grow up, and, it's all like, you could hear a sex joke, but it didn't make you hate women. You could actually, you could watch, you watch a comedy with African Americans, but it didn't make you hate black people or anything like that. I mean, if anything else, it just make you like them even more, you know, but I don't know. So I don't really know where I'm going with this. It's just, like I said, this is the kind of movie like, if you're very uptight and you're very rigid, then I don't recommend you watching this. If you do want a movie that, like I said, it's totally out of control, and It is outrageous, you know. If you're in for that kind of movie and you kind of really want to push your limits a little bit and watch something kind of crazy and fun and everything else. Also, too, if you're the kind of person, if you don't like spoofs, if you don't like the scary movies, if you don't like Airplane, if you don't like Hot Shots or The Naked Gun or any of that kind of stuff, stay away from this because this is more of the same. Now, me personally, I love these kind of movies. I love the spoof movies. I got a huge collection of them. Probably right at, I'm going to be honest with you, probably right after horror films, that's probably the biggest number of movies in my collection are spoofs. I have, I try to get them all pretty much. I got the Naked Guns, I got the Airplanes, I got the Hot Shots, I got superhero movie, I got disaster movie, Vampires Suck, the Starving Games, Super Fast, where they poke out the Fast and Furious movies. I got all that stuff. So I mean, I love this. I love this kind of comedy, and so yeah, if you don't like this kind of comedy, if you're like, oh, I can't stand Wayne's Brothers movies, or I can't stand movies like Top Secret or something like that, then yeah, stay away from this. You're not going to like this. But if you do like that kind of humor, then yeah, this movie's right up your alley. So, but anyway, so that's going to pretty much wrap it up here. Like I said, this movie, I think it's a gem. I think it's one of the funniest movies out there. And, I mean, the way I see it, if somebody comes back and says, I think this is offensive to Asian people and stuff like that. Well, if Asian people really found it that offensive, why would they even take the damn role in the first place? You say, well, because of money. It's like, well, if their principles were that damn strong, they wouldn't have let money affect their judgment. But anyway, though, so yeah, that's just it. I mean, I think this movie's a lot of fun. It's a good comedy, and I enjoy it. Um, yeah, if you can kind of get over it and stuff like that, then yeah, this is a good movie. But like I said, if you're very wound tight and you know, you're not into, pushing the envelope with comedy and stuff like that, then yeah, you better stay away from this. But anyway, though, A plus plus from me anyway. So anyway, that's going to wrap it up. This is a Cinema 77 horror and cult film lover, and I hope you love outrageous, naughty comedies as much as I do. And if you took the time to watch this video, thank you so much for doing so. I really appreciate it. If you like the video, please like and subscribe. And that'll be it. So I'll see you later. Have a good day.